Okay there. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather, and I'm here today for your AdvocateHub class. So I was away for a couple weeks. So Don covered the last class, which was awesome. I saw that he taught you guys a lot of super cool things. So hopefully you've been making the most of that awesome knowledge. And if not, hopefully you can go back and check out that video if you missed it or maybe forgot some of his cool tips and work those into your everyday schedule. So today we're going to be talking about events. I started advancing my slides here. So this is me. I was in Portugal. Now I'm back in Toronto, where the weather is slowly but surely improving. And I'm here today to talk to you guys about events and how to leverage your AdvocateHub and your advocates for different events that you may be planning or that may be happening at your company. Maybe you're not necessarily on the planning committee. Definitely there's still space here for you to contribute to the process using the advocates and the AdvocateHub. As we always say here at Influitive, there's always room and encouragement towards working with your entire company, sort of a company-wide team to leverage your advocates and your AdvocateHub and sort of make the most of this program. So planning events is the same thing. It might not be part of your department. Maybe it is, but you definitely want to make sure that this tool and this concept is sort of integrated with that. It's events are a really great way to showcase your advocates, to make them feel special. A lot of times advocates are looking for that sort of special something, that insider track or VIP treatment, or maybe just sort of that VIP access. And that could be something as simple as access to giving an opinion. And in the event planning process, lots of opinions are needed, wanted, and thrown around. And so involving your advocates in that is a really great way to make the most of this experience for everyone. So we're going to talk today about creating events-related challenges in your AdvocateHub. So when we do this at Influitive, and we've done this for a couple different hubs, and we've also seen some of our customers do this as well, we recommend a schedule of pre-event challenges, event day challenges, and post-event challenges. So we're going to talk about that. There's a little mention of in-hub rewards, although not in the order on which I have it in this slide. And then I'm going to talk a bit about showcasing your advocates at an event. So throughout the class, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat window down there on the side. I will, if I can get to them at the moment, I will get to them at the moment. Otherwise, I will leave them to the end and come back for them. So either way, your questions will not be forgotten. We had a few questions submitted in advance of the class as well, so I'll also be addressing those. Hopefully the presentation addresses the bulk of them. But either way, let's get started. So we're going to start first of all by just a quick overview, like what is an event? An event is kind of a broad word. So when I talk about an event, what am I talking about? For the most part, when Influitive talks about events-related challenges, we're mostly talking about larger events. So like a conference or a convention, an AGM, but certainly that can be brought. The ideas that we're going to talk about today, while I'm thinking about them in a way as applying to sort of a larger scale event, I definitely think that there's room for these ideas to be applied to smaller events, whether it's a user group. We're having a user group tomorrow in San Francisco, and some of these things could certainly be applied to that. Even if it's an online event, something like a webinar or a Google Hangout or some sort of other type of creative online event, even if it's just a customer meetup, something like maybe it's an awards show. We had the BAMIs in San Francisco a couple months ago. These are all examples of events where you need to promote it to people, get them to come, get them to be interested, where you're interested in their experience at the event and you want to be a part of that. And then after the event, in the post-event phase, you want to know what their feedback was, and you want to get them involved in the event wrap-up as well. So I'm just going to get you guys to do a quick poll here. So do you have any events planned in the coming year that involve advocates, and what type of event? So this poll is open. I'm just going to give you guys a minute or a couple minutes to just respond, just to give me a sense of if you're having any events, are you planning bigger events or smaller events? So I can have an idea of where to focus. So I'll just let you guys address that before we move on. Oh, I see a question here. What's an AGM? An AGM is an annual general meeting. I don't necessarily know that applies in this space that some of you guys are in, but let's say a lot of companies will have an AGM to sort of go over like their financial results and sort of talk about what the plan is for the coming year. It might actually be more of like an enterprise-y concept, but that's an AGM. They tend to be kind of boring. I know most of these marketing events that I've seen advertised lately are like really fun and exciting. I've been to some AGMs that are just like very, very boring. But certainly if you're planning an AGM and you get your advocates involved, it will be more fun. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll and just move on here. Okay, so we're going to talk about first pre-event challenges. So when you're sort of thinking about how you want to lay out your Advocate Hub involvement for your events, as I said before, at Influitive we recommend that you do pre-event, event day, and post-event challenges. So there's two different sort of tracks that I'm going to talk about for pre-event challenges. So to sort of get to the heart of what these two concepts are, I would start by asking yourself, what do you want your advocates to help you with? Do you want to just have your advocates, do you just want to get them psyched up about the event? Do you want them to get them psyched up, get them to psych other people up, get everyone just excited? Do you want them just to be sort of on that social media track, learn about the event, tell us what you're excited about? Or do you want to sort of take it to the next level and get them to actually provide input into the event itself? So there's sort of two tracks here. One is just sort of like a surface level, like, use your Advocate Hub to channel excitement about your event. Or level two, use your Advocate Hub to really get your advocates involved in the event and sort of almost create like a cycle of advocacy. So they go to the event, they were part of the event, that makes them more excited about the event, that makes them more excited about the company, makes them more willing to advocate, and then next year they're going to come back and be even more amped up about this event. So if it's possible, and I understand that there are so many just different limitations that sometimes it's not possible to sort of get to that higher level. At the very basic level, you always want to be getting your advocates excited about your event, and you can use your Advocate Hub to do that. And there's lots of cool ways that you can do that. But if you really want to take it to the top, I definitely suggest getting your advocates more deeply involved into the planning of the event. And I'll go into that into some greater detail. And then there are sort of three key benefits that I see as being with the benefits of involving your advocates in events. So first of all, it's fun for your advocates. Second of all, it makes being an advocate more appealing to other people. And third of all, it has the huge potential for making your event even better than it was already going to be. Okay, so pre-event challenges, get psyched up. So this is all about getting your advocates excited about signing up for this event and excited about attending this event. So first of all, consider perking advocates who signed up. Have a challenge that says, hey, are you signed up to go to, my hub is Yoga Cat Studio, so I'll use that as an example. Are you going to the Yoga Cat retreat this month? Yes, or sort of, the Yoga Cat Super Yoga retreat next year. Yes, you're signed up. Yes, I'm going to confirm that you're signed up, and then I'll give you a perk. So that just sort of makes it even that much more special. Like, yay, get like a pre-event t-shirt that you can wear around, or maybe a hat or something, and then maybe you could have challenges around taking pictures of yourself with that and tweeting it out or uploading it and sharing. So you always want to consider perking your advocates. That's a really great way to get people excited. That sort of surprise reward is really, really motivating to people. So definitely perking advocates to sign up is a great idea. Another thing that we see people do very often is they offer event tickets in their rewards library so that people can actually complete advocacy activities and then earn or purchase a ticket to go to the event with those points. So that's always a super popular one. People also perk some advocates with tickets for events. That's definitely something you can try out. Those are all really good ideas. One thing you want to keep in mind, though, is that let's say your event is in a month, and you have a bunch of advocates in your hub, and you put tickets in your rewards library and say, hey, I have tickets for this event next month. They cost 30,000 points. Because these are high-value prizes, you want to make them a high cost. You have to keep in mind, is it going to be possible for someone to earn enough points in the next month in order to get that reward? Maybe there's some people in your hub who already have 30,000 points, and so that doesn't really matter. But you want to make sure that you're not putting an impossible reward out there, because that's demotivating. Okay, so for the most part, I'm just going to talk to you guys about challenge ideas and some different things that you can put into your hub around events. So some challenge ideas that we've seen and that we've used ourselves, they can start out really, really simple. Sign up to attend the event. Are you attending the event? If you're attending the event, introduce yourself to other attendees. So for that one, you would make a survey stage challenge with a publicly available response, and you would have everyone just fill out the challenge, and then they would be able to see each other's names, and they would get to meet each other. And then they could, if they wanted, they could use the advocate-to-advocate messaging feature to get in touch with each other, or just comment back and forth either on the challenge or in the new community section. You can ask people to recommend that their friends attend. They could refer other attendees. You could even ask things like, hey, did you go last year? What was your best memory? And based on that, you can either reach out to those people to do like maybe a press piece or something like that, or even just simply get people talking in the hub. Again, if you're doing these types of things, you want to make sure that the challenge responses are publicly visible so that you can get a conversation going back and forth between your advocates and sharing, hey, this was my best memory. Well, this was my favorite thing that happened. Oh, my God, that was really cool too. You just want to be constantly trying to drive these good feelings about the event and just really getting people excited about going. Even if you release the agenda for the event, if you could maybe pre-release it to your advocates in the Advocate Hub, or just put it there anyways regardless, it's really valuable to you and to your advocates if the Advocate Hub can be seen as a location where they can get the information that they need about the event. Okay, so here's some more challenge ideas. So we also have, what are you most looking forward to at the event? So just asking your advocates what are they stoked about, getting them to think about why they're excited about something. And this is sort of, at this point you want to sort of be getting social media involved as well. So not just asking your advocates, hey, what are you really excited about, but tweet at the speakers and let them know you're excited. Put a post out onto your Twitter, saying that, yeah, you're really excited about this conference, or you're really looking forward to this particular session. These are all things that are going to drive your social media presence, and they're going to get your advocates excited about the event. So sort of as a basic one before that, you want them to follow the conference or event on Twitter, or connect with if your event has a Facebook page or like maybe a LinkedIn group, something like that. You want to make sure that you're driving your advocates to that piece of social media so that they can be connected and stay in the loop. Another really cool idea we've seen is a scavenger hunt for the event sponsor. So some of you have put challenges in your hub that basically say, hey, go to this website and search around, and they'll show like a small segment of an image and say like, hey, go find out where this is on the website. Or hey, go find this piece of information on this web link. You can do this with a scavenger hunt for your event website as well if you just want to drive people there. The example I put here is to ask who are the event sponsors, but certainly you can ask other questions, who are the speakers, or where is the event held, or what's a fun fact that's shared on the website, what kind of picture is on this page, stuff like that. You just want to be getting people familiar with the event website. You want them to get them thinking about it. So this is a good way to do that as well. And then one more, this is one of the really popular ones that we've seen, is to just have your advocates share an article or a link about the event. So if you just say, hey, here's a video that we've made to promote the event, can you share this on your whatever? People do that. And it's a quick, easy ask, and it's a great way to just get the message out there. So you definitely want to try stuff like that as well. Now, to take it to sort of the next level and involve your advocates in the actual planning of your event, these are the types of challenge ideas you would look to. So first of all, you just want to get their input on past events they've seen. So the previous sort of section is sort of just asking questions for the sake of getting your advocates excited. What was your favorite memory, or what are you really looking forward to? These questions are more about sourcing their opinion with the intention of using it. So for example, what's the best thing you've ever done at an event? Or what would you like to see done after the event? Or what's the best event swag? So here you're saying, hey advocates, we value your opinion. We want to know, like, what do you think makes a good event? And when you give us that information, we will take that into consideration in planning of our event and make it the best event possible. So if someone says, like, hey, one time I went to an event and there were candles and toothpaste and toothbrushes in the bathroom and that made all the difference, do that. Stuff like that, little things where you're getting people's opinion, it just gives that sort of special VIP feeling to your advocates, and it also just helps you add an extra touch that maybe you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. Best event swag is definitely a good one. There's so many kinds of swag out there, and often you're giving out swag at these types of things, especially if you're doing, let's say you're going to a trade show. Dreamforce, I know, is a big one that Influitive went to, and a lot of you guys have been to as well. Event swag there is huge, and so you definitely want to do things like source your advocate's opinion just to get different suggestions, and maybe you won't use them, but the fact that you're even asking is sort of an important statement to your advocates. So other things like what type of food would you like to see the event, or even what should we call the event? Often, you have committees that are sort of thinking about this. What are we going to do? What are we going to call it? That's an extra opinion from your advocates. I mean, you kind of have sort of like a board of people that you can just ask random questions to about how to make things great, and they are the audience that you're trying to cater to. So if you ask their opinion, you're bound to get an answer that's going to be helpful. So other things, what types of themes should be covered? So this is just sort of like even like the pre-planning when you're looking at what should the conference be called, what do we want to sort of address at this conference. These are things that you can definitely pose to your advocates. Maybe you don't want to bring them in until later, but certainly we've seen quite challenges around things like what questions do you want answered? Who would you like to see speaking or presenting? Recommend a speaker, or maybe say, we have a list of people that are speaking. Vote on which ones you would like to see. We actually saw that with one of our customers who've had a lot of success with events-related challenges, and they basically made a challenge saying, hey, we have so many session ideas, we can't pick one or two. We need you guys to vote. So they had all their advocates vote on session topics just to help them narrow it down. It makes a lot of sense because these people are going to be attending the event anyways, so they're going to have opinions that are valuable about what should be shown. Another one that was really big, done by the same customer, they had everyone submit a short video to play at the conference. So, say, hey, create a short video saying why you love our company, and then we're going to put them all together into one big video and we'll show it at like the opening night of our conference. Or, submit a picture of you using our product at work or in your life somewhere, and we'll put it all together in a big slideshow and we'll play it throughout the event. Things like that. It's just, it's a simple ask, but it's a really good way to just add that really personal advocate touch to an event. So then here I just have a couple screenshots of different challenge ideas. So this is what a challenge would look like if it was one of those introduce yourself to the other attendees. So this is from the Rev Talks AdvocateHub. So some of you, I believe, attended Rev Talks. Rev Talks is basically a marketing conference that was held in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. And Influitive worked with the Rev Talks organizers to build a Rev Talks AdvocateHub. So all the challenge examples you guys are going to see today are from that. And this hub was specifically built to promote the event and to engage the event attendees. So you have this challenge, introduce yourself to the other attendees, your name, your title, your company, what do you want to get out of Rev Talks, and then you just submit. And then you can see below what others are saying. You can like their responses. You can comment on them. Just gets a little bit of a conversation starting. And it makes it feel like everyone sort of is getting to know each other, especially because you're going to see each other. These people are going to see each other in person at the actual conference. So to have that sort of pre-introduction is kind of nice. This one here is just a simple question. So their conference is about revenue marketing. So what does revenue marketing mean to you? And this is good. Just sort of gets people in that mindset of this event is coming up. What do you think about it? What do you think about this topic? Okay, so we're going to go on to event day. So you've had all your pre-event ramp up. You've had everyone sharing their opinions. You've taken it all into consideration. You haven't slept in 3 days. It's event day. You're ready. What kind of challenges are you going to have waiting for your advocates? So first of all, you want to keep in mind that you should be, all the challenges that you have set up for the event day, you want to make sure that they're targeted to be used on Maven, the Influitive mobile app. And you definitely want to make sure that you're telling your advocates, creating challenges, asking them to download Maven, so that way they can access the challenges on their mobile phone, on their iPhone specifically, at the event. I mean, they can access the site itself on their iPads. They bring iPads to the conference, which I've seen many, many people do. I mean, if they brought their laptop, they could use just the web application again as well. But if they have their mobile phone only, Maven is a great option. So simple things like checking in at the conference location. We have a Maven-specific challenge stage that is all about checking in. You can use something like that. Tweeting about the conference. You can just put in lots of challenges asking advocates to tweet with different hashtags, to share links. Tweeting is a really, really popular one for this. We've seen one challenge that was really popular in the RevTalks Hub, asking advocates to predict the conference buzzwords. So, every conference has sort of a topic, and every speaker sort of says not the same thing over and over again, but there's common themes that are going on. So asking people to think about and sort of talk about the conference buzzwords, that's a really great way to get people engaged on your AdvocateHub at the event itself. Of course, you don't want to just keep it all online. You want to take it a little bit offline as well, because you're actually meeting your advocates in person. So you can put this challenge in Maven just the same, saying come to something like maybe our video booth and give a testimonial. So there's a lot of room here for you to use your AdvocateHub to mobilize your advocates to do something in person for you on the event day. And that can be something awesome like coming to the event booth, giving a testimonial, sharing your thoughts. I mean, if you're at a trade show or something like that, this is also a good one. Simply asking your advocates to do something in person, and that's kind of what that's all about. So there's a lot of other ones here. So something like recommending songs for your playlist. Another one of our customers did this, and it was a huge success. They essentially had a challenge saying all day just what songs do you want the DJ to play. Submit requests or recommend songs that you want to hear in between sessions as you're walking around or during the lunch session, stuff like that. So it's a small thing to ask. I mean, you could have just come up with a playlist on your own, but by asking your advocates what they want to hear, it just makes it that much more personal. And it just, then they're at the event and they hear that song and they're like, oh, I love that song. They play that song because I asked them to. They really care about me. And that's what you're really trying to do here, is build that personal connection and that personal relationship. So this is something just simple like that is a really great way to build your relationship with your advocates. And maybe you are at a trade show and you just have a little teeny booth. Still, you can get your advocates to build your playlist, do stuff like that. The next one I have on the list here is submitting service requests. So this is kind of a funny one. I went to a conference in San Francisco earlier this year. And this was like a conference for people who work in customer support. And one of the things they do at this conference is they ask you to tweet at their Twitter handle with things that you want. So you're sitting in the back and you want ice cream, or you want clean, really warm socks, or a pair of slippers, or a pillow to sit on because your back is hurting. If you tweet, hey, conference organizers, can I get this? They will bring it to you right away. Obviously not all conferences or events work like that, but this I thought was kind of a cool thing that they did, and I think that you could really leverage your AdvocateHub to do something similar. Maybe you wouldn't want to be quite so liberal with what you're willing to provide, but certainly you want to be able to get sort of live feedback from your advocates, or even just from attendees in general if they're signing up to be part of the AdvocateHub that day. So even the last thing on the list, there's something we should know, tell us on Maven. So let's say you just have a challenge. You could just have a challenge in Maven saying, hey, anything we should know during the day, just tell us. And that can be something really simple, like the bathroom is out of toilet paper, or it's really cold in here, or these chairs in session room A are terrible, or I can't find your booth, where are you? Just simple things where someone would like to give a little bit of feedback, but there's no one there to listen. you can really leverage your AdvocateHub and you can leverage Maven to be there and listen at that exact moment. So 2 other things you can ask. What session are you loving today? Share it. Again, this is about getting your advocates to share on social media what they're enjoying and how things are going at the event. Another good one, upload a photo of yourself at the conference. So there is an upload an image stage, challenge stage available. You can make this work on Maven and just get people to upload images of themselves at the conference. And then you can certainly leverage these images later for event promotion or sort of post-event promotion. And that's just a good way to sort of collect things that you might have looked for otherwise. I mean, you could just email all your different customers and say, hey, send us any photos. But, I mean, this is sort of the point of AdvocateHub. It's a simpler, more streamlined way to get people to share the things they're doing with you at that moment. So uploading a photo of yourself at the conference, just another example of that. So we have a couple more screenshots here. The challenge about predicting the conference buzzword. So this one asks 2 questions, saying, the Rev Talk buzzword was, and saying, what's your personal buzzword? What's like the word that you're always using right now? And then this one, this is just an example of a Twitter challenge. So it says, truth or dare, you know how the game works. Tell us the truth you learned at Rev Talk and a daring new strategy you're thinking about testing. It's really just about creating different prompts, asking people to post things to Twitter. So then we get sort of moving into the post-event space. And what kind of challenges can you use in the post-event period to engage your advocates? So lots of different things. There's small asks and there's big asks. So we have write a blog post about your event experience. A lot of people are going to do this anyways. Certainly any one of your advocates or customers that are writing a blog post about their experience at the event, you want to make sure that you know what that is, and you want to make sure that you're helping to promote that event as that experience, or that blog post as well. You can also just ask a simple survey. What did you learn at the event? Who did you meet at the event? Can you give us some event feedback? What did you like? What can we change? How can we improve the event for next time? And maybe even suggest setting up a user group with internal event planners if they were interested in meeting with some of the attendees and sort of learning what their experience is. Again, this is a great way to sort of provide that sort of VIP experience for your advocates. Okay, more post-event. So other challenge ideas, ask your advocates to watch and share event content. Oftentimes there'll be like a video or like a little article or something written up after the event. You can ask your advocates to watch it. You can ask them to read it, to share it, all that kind of stuff. So continuing the social media push, you can get people to submit testimonials. So not just giving sort of quick feedback like, yeah, I liked the food and the sessions are really fun, but to sort of submit a more detailed response. I love attending the Yoga Cat Studio retreat because it makes me feel so relaxed. And every year I want to go, and every year it gets better. Something like that. You're really looking for that sort of deeper sort of marketing website-worthy quote in that one. And again, more questions you can ask. Who was your favorite speaker? What was your favorite session? What was your favorite moment? You're really just trying to get your advocates to tell you their story about their experience at your event. So here's a couple challenge screenshots as well. So this is the upload a photo challenge that we talked about. You could use this in the post-event period or in the event day period as well. And then, again, it's just a feedback challenge. How did you like the event? We want to hear about it. Sort of, saying, can we get some feedback? What can we change? How can we improve? Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is how you showcase your advocates in an event. What you really want to make sure that you're doing is making your advocates feel special and feel valued. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Some of our customers at different events they've planned have had special VIP seating areas for their advocates. I've heard of a company having a VIP dinner or a meetup before or after their event. So it sort of gives them like this exclusive market networking opportunity, which is this sort of opportunity to meet other advocates and to meet people from the company as well. And just to have a nice dinner to feel valued. As I said before, something like a challenge on Maven where they can request different services, hey, I'd like some, warm socks or some slippers. I don't know how deep your event planners want to get into that kind of thing, but if you were open to something like that, AdvocateHub and Maven are a great way to do that. Another way to sort of highlight or make your advocates noticeable is to give them some sort of special, unique swag. I mean, you're probably going to be giving them out some general swag at your event anyways, but giving them a special swag, maybe even ask them to vote on it through the AdvocateHub before the event, that will really make them stand out. I've heard of people giving out VIP passes for their advocates. Not that they're necessarily a pass that's going to get them tons of access to like front of the line and stuff like that, because that might sort of rub some people the wrong way. But having some sort of pass or necklace that people can wear that says, this person is an advocate. This person is part of a certain special segment of our customers. So, I mean, as part of that, you could set them up with some sort of ask me about the company badge or pass, so that they're not just identified as, hey, this person is a VIP, but hey, this person is an expert in the Yoga Cat Studio. And if you have questions about it, or if you want to know how to get the most out of this relationship, you should talk to that person because they know what's up. They're an expert. So, I mean, that's valuable for you because it sort of creates these advocates as a resource for other attendees to interact with. But it also makes your advocates feel good, and sort of promotes them and promotes their career and positions, hey, this person is an expert. This person is really good at what they do, and you should look to them for advice. We find that advocates, long-term advocates, really respond well to that sort of career-building benefit. So one thing you can definitely do is set up an advocate booth where other advocates or whether other attendees can come meet the advocates for your company, ask them some questions, get to know them. You just want to try and make them visible if they're open to it. One thing that I really want to stress, though, is that you want to make sure that these people seem special and that they feel special, but you also have to make it clear that others can also join this group. You want to make the Advocate Club seem exclusive but not exclusionary. You want to make it seem like for someone else to see what they're doing and say, wow, I want to be a part of that. And you want them to easily be able to figure out how to be a part of that. Otherwise, you're sort of missing an opportunity to get more advocates to join up with you. I mean, maybe some people are new to the company or just haven't had an opportunity to really get involved in the advocate type of relationship, but you don't want to make it feel like they've missed the boat. So you want to definitely have your advocates be seen as a resource for even building that type of relationship. Come meet to the advocate booth, meet the advocates, and oh my gosh, you're interested in being one too? Cool. We'll sign you up. Okay, another thing you could think about doing is even just have a talk to an advocate luncheon where advocates, maybe you sort of divvy your advocates up throughout, I don't know, let's say you're planning a conference or something, and at lunchtime you have an advocate sit at every different lunch table so they can engage with all the other attendees. So that you can make sure that your advocates, you want them to get the cool VIP seating, but you also, again, want to make sure that they're accessible to other people so that other people can learn about what it's like to be an advocate. So something like that, having a sort of talk to an advocate session, have the advocates host their own session or speaker session at an event or as part of a webinar. Have your advocates host their own webinar even, where they talk about either something that they do as advocates or maybe just what they like about the interacting with your company. You can kind of work with them to choose a topic or let them figure it out themselves. But there's definitely a lot of room there to do some cool stuff. The last one I have here is an event scavenger hunt. So I talked about sort of a website scavenger hunt, which is something we have available, something we put in some hubs. But the idea of having an actual event scavenger hunt, maybe even have one advocate per team, and get your advocates to interact with other attendees as part of some sort of event scavenger hunt. Certainly, challenges that are on Maven, you can sign up for Maven without actually signing up for an advocate account. So you can actually make challenges on Maven available to anyone, even if they don't have an advocate account. So there are lots of challenges where you could basically at your event say, hey, download this app, do these activities, you're going to get some points. If you're interested, or if you come by the advocates table and indicate that you're interested, we'll set you up with an official account. But so something like an event scavenger hunt is something that anyone can really access through Maven. So you have different challenges saying, hey, go find this and upload a picture of it. Go find this, upload a picture. Or this is a picture of something, go find it and tell us where you found it. So you guys understand the scavenger hunt concept, I believe. Basically, it's go find something that is a mystery. It's just sort of a fun thing. It's a fun way to interact with people. It's a fun way to sort of discover a new space. Especially a lot of events I've noticed lately are in a really, really cool location. So this might be a really, really fun one. Just in general, submitting or voting on an idea to be featured at the event. This is sort of more of a pre-event challenge. I got into this is sort of my last-minute slide that I stuck in after everything else was done. But definitely just asking advocates, what do they want to see done at the event? Or even at the event, you can put up a challenge like this saying, what would you, after lunch we have option A or option B for dessert. What do you guys want? Or this afternoon we can either do 4 15-minute sessions or 2 30-minute sessions. What should we do? And get your participants to vote on what the process is. I've been to a lot of events or conferences where the attendees are just sort of why are the conference people doing it this way? This is such a terrible system. Having your advocates or just your attendees, giving them the opportunity to give you instant feedback at an event is a great way to make sure that they stay engaged the entire time. And the last one I've got here for you guys is a flash mob / dance mob. This is something we've saw one of our customers do. Basically, their advocates planned on AdvocateHub to do a flash mob, and then they all received a challenge notification at the same time saying, hey, it's time to go do the flash mob. And they went up and they did it. And it was just, it was a lot of fun. It was a good way to, again, highlight the advocate program to all the other attendees and to really just engage with the advocates again. So with that, I'm actually just going to head to questions. So if you want to submit a question over the phone, Albert, who is our Ready Talk assistant today, is going to talk to you guys about how to do that. But if you have any questions you want to put in through the chat section, you can do that as well. And I'm going to just hand it over to Albert now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press the 1 followed by the 4 on your telephone. Your question will be answered via the audio, and you will be able to speak into the call. Once again, that's the 1-4. And if you'd like to withdraw your registration for a question, it's the 1-3. Back to you, Heather, for the chat questions.
Thank you. So one of the questions that was asked was, what's sort of the best timing to release information about events? This isn't really something that Influitive offers a best practice around, although I would say that it's probably best to line that up with the way the rest of your marketing works. So, let's say you're promoting the event 2 months out. That's probably a good time to start releasing challenges. But as I talked about before, if you have some sort of pre-event planning challenges or sort of questions you want to ask your advocates, then even before you start promoting the event, you might want to put out a couple challenges, just sort of putting the feelers out there asking, what do you think about this idea, or what do you think about that idea? What type of theme would you like to see in an event if we were planning one? So one thing that I would recommend, though, is that let's say you're planning a big conference. If you are planning a big conference, you want to make sure that you're not pestering all of your advocates with challenges about the conference if they're not attending. So let's say what I would recommend is that you ask a challenge, or you put it at a join group challenge, basically asking your advocates, are you planning or interested in attending this event? If they say yes, awesome. Put them into that group, and then you can target all of your events-related challenges to that group. And maybe some of the social media ones you can target to a broader section of advocates. But what you don't want to be doing is sort of over-promoting the event to people who aren't able to go to it, just because that's kind of a drag, and you don't want to sort of make people feel like they're being bothered. So one question here, we have a question from Kimberly Griffiths. Thank you, Kimberly. Any ideas for swag before the event? Something easy to pack and bring to the event. Easy to pack and bring to the event. This is a really good question. Some good things that are, this is probably one of those things that you'd be best off asking your advocates. Things that would be small, I would say, would or maybe kind of simpler to pack would be, I guess this sort of depends on your definition of easy to pack. I mean, you could fit a lot of T-shirts in a box and easily ship that to the event. T-shirts are kind of a great swag piece. Something like maybe sunglasses. Stickers are always sort of a popular item. But, I mean, there's a lot of smaller things that I think you could pack and bring to the event, but the more important thing is that what your advocates are going to want. Shannon here, Shannon from our support team, is also on the call. She's typing in to remind me that buttons are a really big thing. Yes, Shannon is awesome. So yeah, buttons, stickers, we gave out, Dreamforce and Influitive gave out buttons, and they turned out to be really popular. Also foam fingers, which was pretty easy to package up and bring to San Francisco, simply because they're light. And badges, and not like, sticker badges, but like a real badge. How often do you get a real badge? That's kind of like a cool, unique swag piece that would be small enough that it would be fairly easy to pack and bring with you somewhere. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. But when I put the recording of the video in the Influitive forums, I'll try to think of some other ideas, and I'll put in like a list. Okay. So I think all the other questions I actually covered in the class itself. We had some questions just on how to identify advocates at the event or how to feature your clients at the event. I think I've covered that in enough detail. This is one more question. What events are most engaging in terms of hub activity? So what events that you can talk about are going to drive the most activity? On that front, I would say any event that the events that are most relevant to your advocates are going to drive the most activity. So like I said about promoting events to your advocates who can't go to the event, that's not really going to drive a lot of activity because it's not relevant to them. So again, you just want to make sure that you're being careful in how you're promoting this to different customers. If you have a segment of people who always go to the webinars, then webinars are going to drive a lot of engagement within your Advocate Hub. If you have a lot of people who live in a certain region and you're planning a big event there, or you're attending a big event there, very likely that you're going to get a lot of engagement around that. So just keeping in mind what is relevant to your advocates is probably just a good way to go with that. Okay, so if there's any more questions, I will take those. And if not, I'm just going to give you guys a couple seconds to think if you have any questions.
And there are no other audio questions.
Okay, so there's no audio questions. I didn't really expect because there's no one signed in on the audio anyways. Okay, I'm going to call this to a close. We did go a little bit over time, but thank you guys so much for sticking with me. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the webinar for today. We thank you for your participation and ask that you please disconnect your line.